How y'all doing? This is your boy Lord Thaddeus Craig. Sorry about the background, but it is what it is. Okay, I'm going to say straight up what this one's going to be about. This one is going to be about a cryptid. It's going to be about the Yeti. Now, what exactly is this thing? It's fairly well known. It's a variant of Bigfoot or Sasquatch, some kind of hominoid that lives very much in the northern parts of Tibet. I wouldn't be surprised if it has some kind of connection to the Aryan of China. But regardless, these creatures are very interesting. This is one cryptid I learned about when I was younger. I read a lot of books on it when I was in school. So I know a little bit more about this one almost up here than having to really look up stuff. The Tibet is a very interesting... The Yeti is a very interesting creature, to say the least. Its physical descriptions have varied, for the most part, from being basically like a white Sasquatch. The majority of them, actually, from what I remember, are, for the most part, they have reddish or brown hair, or fur, whatever you want to call it. They're big, massive. Of course, there have been rumors of these creatures naturally stealing livestock, usual stuff, stealing livestock. There's even been rumors about people being attacked and even killed by these creatures. Do I think this is possible? Well, obviously. These things are very territorial, just like anything else, but that is simply the way of such a creature. Of course, there are other things. There's been stories from the old Sherpas, or the wise men of that area. They supposedly have like helmets that are made of the hair and skin of these creatures. There have been some that were tested, and they actually were revealed to be fake, and that of goat hair and skin. But that doesn't disqualify the fact that something could definitely be living out there. Especially in the, you have to understand, there's mountain ranges out there. And of course, you have forests and the valleys and stuff. So it's only natural that these creatures would probably live in them valleys with the forests and all that. And they probably hop the mountains to travel from one water source or food source to another. I mean, think about it. You have stories of Bigfoot, for example, crossing 60 miles in a day, without any hitch, a troop of them. So you have to understand just how physically powerful something like this would be. And I'm pretty sure something like that would be no issue for it at all. Is it probably very big? I wouldn't be surprised, especially if there's a serious food source or something else for it. You better believe it. There's definitely going to be something out there for such a creature. Such things are very, very, how can I say this the best way possible, because you have to understand something. A lot of times, especially like, give me an example, the Ice Age, animals, you have megafauna, big massive creatures that were bigger than any elephant or normal sized rhinoceros, and they were hairy. You really have to take that into consideration. Body heat creates warmth. So if something is in a cold environment and there's a lot of food available or resources, it's going to get very large, usually. Not always, but that's definitely something to think about. So you're dealing with a creature that will probably thrive fairly well in the cold, especially if it has a thick coat of hair or fur or whatever, and is big. Of course, it would not need to worry. I mean, it would definitely have to conserve its energy, but at the same time, like I said, if there's a lot of food or prey or whatever it can feed on, it's not a hitch. You also have to take into consideration something like this would definitely be able to hide. Good luck trying to really find something like this easily. I mean, of course, you've had videos that could have been faked, CGI, stuff like that. But I'm just saying, there's definitely something out there when it comes to the Yeti. Such a creature, again, is going to be intelligent. Definitely smart enough to keep away from people, and like I said, there's actually been some stories of attacks by these things. That people have been killed, I think cattle, horses have been carried off. Just scary stuff. I mean, this thing is fairly aggressive compared to a lot of the stories I've heard about the Sasquatch and the Bigfoot. Of course, over here in the West, and whether it be the Northwest, the South, or anywhere. Of course, this is something to think about. Of course, you have a lot of the violent encounters, which are talked about from the Gugui and Janasqua, which are found especially up in Canada. Or just saying. So I wouldn't be surprised there's a similar type of phylum of this species up in the mountains of Tibet that are not ones to take kindly to visitors, and they definitely don't play around. So you really have to consider that. It's almost like the further in the colder climates you go, the more aggressive and more dangerous, anyway, don't worry about that. I'm saying is the more dangerous and aggressive these critters can be. It's something that to me makes sense, especially in a hostile living environment like real snowy, bitter, almost like a wasteland to a degree. Something like that would definitely not play around and be too welcoming to anyone that was too close to it and it didn't recognize. And that really comes into something else. I would not be surprised if these things, of course, there's been sightings of this one of them, usually. But I think there's been sightings of groups or troops. I wouldn't be surprised if that's really how they hung out, especially if there's any connection to the primates of today, which we know about. They're social creatures. It's very rare that they're alone. Because, of course, when you have, how can I say this the best way? When you have a social environment, there's more of a chance for you to make it. And if you don't, then that's when you have problems, if you get my drift. That's just the way of it. Anyway, what I'm saying is, besides, the Yeti is seems to be very much carnivorous from what I've read throughout the years. And like I said, it seems to have a hard on for taking cattle, livestock, things like that. And of course, many of the wise men, here's something else to think about. There are many people in the, especially in the that community over there, that have talked about this creature being wise. And that's where the paranormal seems to come in. This creature seems to have a very powerful spiritual connection to things not of this world. And have there been UFO sightings around these creatures? That I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised. All I know is that these things are obviously intelligent, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of paranormal attached to some of these creatures. They seem to have abilities that we can't comprehend. So it's definitely possible. That's where the supernatural aspect of the paranormal comes in. But again, I understand more the scientific, as you guys know, when it comes to things like this. But I would not be surprised if there's a spiritual connection. Like I said, it's just very fascinating. The stories of this thing has been around as long, if not longer, than anything with Bigfoot. You're talking about legends of this creature going, flies. Anyway, you're dealing with creatures that have been around for a long, long time. Thousands of years, and records go back about this thing. So there you go. I just wanted to kind of really get people thinking. And of course, there's even there's like I want to say there's also some of the old priests or whatever in that area. They've had like stones carved in the shape of these creatures. So it's something to really take into consideration. Do I believe these creatures exist? You better believe it. Do I think they're possibly another variant of Sasquatch? I can't tell you. I wouldn't be surprised if they're connected somehow. Again, Lloyd Pye, he has a lot of very interesting information on creatures like this. I would advise you to look him up. There's a bunch of his stuff on YouTube. But either way, I just want to leave that out there, and I hope you guys enjoy this. But for right now, you guys be blessed and you be safe. You know what I do. I'm the producer for Dark Waters Entertainment. If you've had an encounter or sighting or something, hit me up at westvic@iamdarkwaters.com. Be safe out there.